Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah ma ba'd. Okay, the question is asking about something here which is actually really important, and I don't aim to try and solve this dilemma in this audio. This requires a dars, this requires studying, etc. But the question is actually puzzled by the fact that on one side you've got the majority from the four madhabs saying that if a man was to say to his wife, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, in one sitting, three in one sitting, that is counted as three. But then you've got so many of the ulama from the contemporaries, and even from those who came from before Ibn Taymiyyah and others, who have said, no, three is one. Even if you did it 1,000,000 times, you can only have one talaq per sitting. Now for me, that seems to be the more correct view. And the evidence is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya Nabi, that talaqtu nisa, if you were to divorce your wives, O Prophet, if you were to divorce your wives, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wahsul iddah, count the iddah period. So if you were to do three in one, how are you supposed to do the iddah period? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ, that she is supposed to wait for 3 menstrual cycles for each talaq. So for me, that seems to be the more correct view. But here we have something else. That at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and this is Sahih Muslim, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to count 3 as 1. Now this is dalil for us who say 3 is 1. And just bearing in mind, there are a number of scholars from the time of the Salaf. Yes, they are outside the four madhabs, but there are a number of scholars from the time of the Salaf who counted 3 as 1. And this includes Umar himself, radiallahu anh, Zubayr ibn Awwam from the companions, but then also from the generations after the companions, Tawus and Ikrimah, Sa'id bin Jubair, Amr bin Dinar, Imam Ahmad himself, rahimahullah, counted, in a view going back to him, counted 3 as 1. So it's not an issue where a person is saying here, well, the four madhabs are saying 3 is 3. Why are you counting 3 as 1? The evidences we've given. But also from the evidences, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to count 3 as 1. Now the majority say they didn't count 3 as 1. They used to say 3 times talaq, 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 in order to reinforce it. Why are they saying that? They're saying that because if you say talaq, 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 that would actually be talaq, 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 3 and 3. But that didn't happen at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And that's our dalil to say that when you say talaq, talaq, you are divorced, you are divorced, you are divorced. If you say it like that, then it is only counted as 1. And this is how it was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Fast forward to the time of Umar. Umar radiallahu anh saw people messing around with talaq. Despite that not being his view, what he did is he changed the qada, not the religion, but the qada, the ruling on it. Now this is also very important. The four madhabs say, if you were to divorce your wife 3 times in one sitting, in the taklif you are sinful, but in the wada' is sahih. What does that mean in English? It means that you shouldn't have done that, but the talaq is valid. So even they, the four madhabs, are saying that this is not something which should be done. This is actually something really bad, to divorce your wife in this manner 3 in one sitting. Umar radiallahu anh was of the view that 3 is 1, but he changed 3 to 3. Is that dalil to say that 3 is 3? No. The reason why is that he did it out of qada, not necessarily out of fatwa or out of following a religious opinion. He saw people messing around and being very relaxed and lenient when it comes to talaq. So either as a means of blocking them, or perhaps even as a punishment, وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the context of talaq, do not take these ayat as joke and play. He said, right, if you're going to do this, then class, we're going to count it as 3 as 3. Now see how you get on with your life. Or don't do it, because if you do it, it's going to be very difficult for you afterwards. So this is how we reconcile, because this is what the question is asking. The question is asking here, like I said, I don't want to go into the details from both sides, even though we kind of touched upon it here, and that's not the intent. But the question is asking here, how is it that we see 3 in 1 when Umar changed 3 or had 3 as 3, or the four madhabs see 3 as 3? What we're saying here, the ayah is clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to count the iddah. The Prophet ﷺ at his time, 3 was counted as 1, and it wasn't ta'keed, it wasn't for the purpose of reinforcing it. Yeah. So what they're basically saying is, you can say talaq once, and that is counted as 1. But if my intention is to say I divorce you, But my second time that I'm saying it is the intention of just reinforcing it. So you've heard me straight. I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce. This is what the majority are saying, is that that's what happened at the time of Rasulullah. But if the person does it with the intention of doing 3 and 3, then that's counted. Sorry, 3 in 1, sorry. So I'm getting confused myself now. But if he says talaq, 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 3 with the intention, then they have said, the majority, that's not what happened in that hadith. So we're counting it as 3. But what we're saying here, no, 3 in 1 did not occur at the time of the Prophet. 3 in 3 came after, when Umar radiallahu anh introduced it to stop people from getting into a very difficult situation and treating their partners in a disrespectful manner. Hopefully this now answers the dilemma and helps us unravel the usul and the history behind this mas'ala. And again, this is not going to be solved in a 6-7 minute clip. This is because both sides have said we have got the strongest evidence with us, to the point that some of the ulama from both sides have said we've got ijma' with us. How? Because the companions on this side were agreed that 3 is 1. That's one way of looking at it. But the other side will say, no, 3 is 3. So they both are saying we've got ijma'. All the companions said 3 is 3. But they said, no, all the companions said 3 is 1. So this is not an issue which is going to get solved, and it requires studying, etc. But the question is asking about how Umar radiallahu anh made 3 into 3 and the history behind that. And hopefully we've been able to shed some light on that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us fiqh of the religion and ta'wil. Wallahu a'lam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad.